northern Lake Michigan, 14 islands make up the Beaver Island archipelago. The most northwest island is Squaw Island. On the 69-acre island stands the Squaw Island Lighthouse. Built in 1892 and decommissioned in 1928, it's been out here, alone, neglected, and vandalized for the better part of 8 decades. Now the light needs help. This is the story of the people who will save it.
Thank you, guys.
97-year-old Tom Child and his family own Squaw Island.
He's a collector. He's a collector of stuff, and one of those stuffs was this island. And we were talking today about that when he bought it, he was probably about 45, and when he was 45, the world was his oyster.
Tom fought in World War II. He was on a ship at Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked. Tom lived to talk about it.
You're all wet.
These days, Tom has a hard time getting around, but that's not stopping him and 2 of his daughters. They are making their way back to an island they haven't been to in almost 20 years.
To my estimation, one of the most unique and beautiful lighthouses on the Great Lakes.
In the 1880s, shipping traffic started to change from going north-south to east-west because of the new ore docks in Escanaba. That's why the lighthouse needed to be built on Squaw Island.
The Lighthouse Service was trying to create a chain of pearls of lights around the Great Lakes where a mariner would see a lighthouse ahead of him, would navigate to it accordingly or past it, and then as he lost sight of that one, he'd pick up the next one.
The island was hard to get to then. It still is today.
The amazing thing to me, the logistics involved in building a lighthouse out in the middle of Lake Michigan. There is no local hardware store where you can pick up some quarter 20 bolts and another bag of cement if you need one. So the entire construction crew and all of their materials and everything that they would possibly need all had to be transported out there.
Even on such a remote island where not many would ever see it, the Lighthouse Service built a unique and top-tier structure.
They're beautiful buildings, a Norman Gothic kind of look.
For all the trouble building it, all the attention to detail, the lighthouse had a short lifespan. After only 36 years of service, it wasn't needed anymore. Decommissioned when the new Lansing Shoal light was built.
So in 1928, with the lighting of Lansing Shoal, the Squaw Island Lighthouse was turned off. Everything of any value was removed from the lighthouse, and it was basically abandoned. As a result, the Squaw Island Lighthouse just started to deteriorate. And obviously the roof starts to decay, the walls and the cedar shingles and everything start to decay, and then vandals come in.
Today, with the roof leaking and buildings falling apart, Tom Child and his family decided to give the lighthouse the attention it deserves. It was time to take care of the exterior, but the job is massive. How do you fix something on an island so remote with no power, no running water, or any amenities? A group of guys from Beaver Island was the answer.
I think that the fact that the decision has now been made to invest some money into the lighthouse and the island to bring the lighthouse back to more approaching its original appearance and to prevent it from decaying anymore is an absolutely commendable and wonderful thing, and I'm happy to see that happen.
Well, we brought a bulldozer, excavator, SkyTrack, trailers, generators.
All our gear, materials, grills, refrigerators, lots of coolers.
Early September 2016, men from McDonough Construction Incorporated and KM Contractors loaded a barge full from fog towing and left Beaver Island, headed to Squaw Island for the job of a lifetime. This is no normal job. These guys will have to live here for 3 weeks.
All we can do is sit on the beach and look back at home.
But there's no sitting on the agenda. They need to set up camp, even bulldoze a new road to the lighthouse to be able to work. In their way, poison ivy. The island is covered with it. The work is just beginning, spending hours tearing off the old roof. It's not easy working on a 45-degree angle.
It was pretty rough shape. It was, the shingles were falling apart, coming off the roof. There was a few holes in the roof. It was starting to fall apart. With, you know, once the roof goes on a building, the whole building goes.
The lighthouse choked off by vegetation. It all needed to be cleared. Trees so tall that for decades you couldn't even see the light from the water.
That was a great part of this project too, was coming in and making a road from the beach to the lighthouse. And they just took down, you know, all the trees around all the buildings, opened it up. I mean, the sunlight's in there. It's a great way to get all breathing again.
Long days and back-breaking work, basically stranded on a remote island in the middle of Lake Michigan for 3 weeks. But don't feel too bad for these guys.
We're working hard and we're playing a little bit. We're having some fun too.
After a long day at the lighthouse, it's time for these guys to go home. Welcome to Camp Tito's, their makeshift home for nearly 3 weeks.
Well, we're not really roughing it over here, I'll tell you that. We've been eating pretty good.
Meet camp cook Brian Cole. His job is to somehow keep workers and their stomachs satisfied.
We're feeding 11 to 12 every night, so.
He's doing a great job.
And that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks.
Working at the lighthouse is dirty work. Some guys hop in the lake to clean off. If you want to take a shower here, you've got to make one. And yes, that's hot water.
Not many people can say they took a nice hot shower while you've got the view of Garden Island and Beaver Island behind you.
Roughing it doesn't mean slumming it. Steak is on the menu.
We've got some nice top sirloin, tenderloin steaks. Not sure. Anyways, some delicious steaks going on the campfire grill.
Here he goes.
Just about every night, they got a visit from some of the island's only residents. 2 rabbits they called Guano and Ivy, named after the 2 things the island has plenty of. After a good meal, the opportunity to watch the sunset from the top of the lighthouse. Then get ready for something special, something they can share with the folks back on Beaver Island.
Watched us shoot fireworks off from Squaw Island, so it was kind of, you know, you'll never see it again. It was just fun. It was something fun to do, you know, to break up the monotony.
Morning at Camp Tito's, and breakfast is served.
We are doing a little bit of sausage, smoky links, ham, and French toast.
It's time to get back to work, but to keep working means supplies need to keep coming to the island. Captain of the Corey D, Brandon Maudry, will make 25 trips back and forth during 3 weeks.
It's quite an undertaking, to tell you the truth. Every day they come over, they got to bring 10 bags of ice, at least, 4 block ice, just to keep everything cold.
Difficult, yes, but worth it. Some things happened on Squaw Island during those 3 weeks you won't believe. The Squaw Island Lighthouse has not been seen from the water for decades. One of the crew's jobs, clear paths and open up the island. And what the crew found had everyone talking. This is a picture of the old chapel that dates back to the 90s. It was small, with only 2 pews in it, and hasn't been seen for years. The island swallowed it up. But as the trees and poison ivy were pushed away, the old chapel emerged. One of the only things left standing the cross. A day later, when Ernie Martin was clearing the south side, going right along, something unexpected happened. A discovery that goes back 50 years.
Mike Martin told a few of the guys before we came over here that his father, Charlie Martin, had hidden the bell from the fog tower out here years ago because he didn't want somebody to steal it. So he took it and buried it. And he ended up telling Mike that story. So Mike told a few of the guys on the crew the story. You know, keep an eye out for it.
However, Ernie, the man excavating, Charlie Martin's own grandson, had never heard this story.
And all of a sudden, I looked down, and it was right in front of the track. I just saw it tilted. So I back-bladed out, and then I saw the bell was sitting right the way it is there. I stopped. It was pretty exciting because while I got out and picked it up, I didn't even know there was a bell there. I knew nothing about it.
So he's holding the bell up, and then all the other guys are around, and they all just start hooping and hollering, and that's the bell from the fog tower. But it was just amazing how it went full circle like that. So Charlie Martin buried it, and his grandson, 50 years later, finds it just by chance on a dozer. It was a great story. It was just the whole camp. It was just it made the whole trip.
The bell, once buried and lost in Squaw Island folklore, was back. But what about the light that once radiated from the tower they're here to save? The guys from Camp Tito's decided to pay the ultimate respect and do something that hasn't been done in 88 years.
We had some very large LED lights, and we decided to haul them up into the tower, and we put them up in there and ran a cord up in there, and we fired up our generator, and we actually lit up this lighthouse. The Squaw Island Lighthouse was lit up all night last night because we went up there this morning at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and the light was still on from dusk last night. So that was another special moment on the island. It just kind of sent chills down our back when we did that.
With the cross and bell found and the light shining again, even if it was for only one night, the work on the island is coming to an end. Time to welcome Tom Child and his family back to their island.
Right onto me. You're all wet.
We haven't been here in many years, but it's like yesterday.
Tom Child and his family, who own the island, haven't been here in almost 20 years. But you can tell by the look in their eyes, the memories are flooding back.
I was 16 years old again. I was 15. I was in the moment that people talk about, but I was in this moment today. It's been a long time, friend, and it's good to be back.
They're excellent memories because they were family adventures. And family's pretty important, and this was just part of it.
Years ago, he would bring his family to this island for vacations. Now, at 97, moving around isn't as easy. That would not stop him from taking this trip.
Huge to get him back. I'm sure he is in his mind. In his mind, not his body. He's 45 again. He's 50. He's bringing the kids out for the summer. He's ready to go now, but I don't think he's really ready to leave. He's had a good day.
We're delighted. I didn't think it was going to happen. Weather's been an issue. Enthusiasm for this trip is an issue. But now that we're here, this is a memorable, wonderful day.
a tour of the grounds to check out the work the guys have done.
That's really nice. I'm surprised at the yellow roof up there. Those are just natural stained shakes.
We're here taking a look at what they've done. And they've done a magnificent job. They've built new roads. They've apparently had a marvelous crew here.
They even saved the old foghorn building, which was in such bad shape, it was in danger of collapsing. But even more important than the buildings, the roads, or even the lighthouse, was this day, the time spent here, and what it means to the Child family, still making history on their historic island.
Make a wonderful place for somebody to live. Spend summers anyhow. I'm 97 years old myself, and my time is getting toward the end. But I would like to see somebody take it, and I'd just as soon my people kept it for the next 20 years till somebody really wants it.
It looks to me like it's going to stand up for a while. The roof is good, the porch has been painted, there's been a lot of paint, there's been a lot of brickwork done. The place looks like it's going to stand for a little while to come. I think that historically, I mean, this means something. This means something.
The work on Squaw Island is over for now. Time for the guys to say goodbye to the island, their makeshift home, and to Tom Child and his daughters, Janet and Sue.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Thank you. For a 97-year-old man to make the trip from Ohio, to fly up here, to get on a boat, you know, and then be lifted off a boat with a Skytrack and, you know, and his daughters, it was amazing. And they were just the nicest people. Came up and thanked everybody in the crew, and they really see now what is here again and the potential of this place.
Loading the barge, everything they brought out here must go back. Back home to Beaver Island. Also going back, some great memories.
Oh my God! Try and go starboard, Matt.
Yes, we were hired to do this, but we did a great job, I think, because a lot of people just, you know, love this lighthouse, and to see something like that restored and the owners to put the money into it, it's just been amazing.
Back on Beaver Island, a celebration for a job done right. And the perfect opportunity to pay respect to the men who taught them the trades, men whose legacy endures in the very fabric of these islands.
And I do want to say this wouldn't have been possible without all of our ancestors teaching us what we know up here.
Yeah.
The Martins, the Gillespies, McDonoughs, and then this guy right here.
The Smiths.
He made this happen out there.
Yeah, he did. This guy right here made it happen. He
Thanks
did.
a lot, Ryan.
Kept us
All
going.
respect for it.
You guys, I couldn't be prouder of all of us, and the owners couldn't be prouder of
Great.
This gentleman right here learned a lot from Big Bob.
Uncle Bob.
His Uncle Robert. And Jewel Gillespie would have been proud.
Thanks,
the
Brad.
way he handled that boat. For 2 weeks in a lot of seas.
A 3-week sacrifice away from family and home that felt less like a sacrifice and more like a privilege.
It's quite an honor for us to be working on a project like this. The men that built this were real craftsmen.
It's an honor, privilege to be able to do something like this. It's a once-in-a-lifetime deal. You'd never do it again, probably.
This is probably one of our favorite projects that we'll never get another opportunity like this to restore a facility of this magnitude.
Pride in a job these guys will never forget. Pride that shines bright like the light they saved.
We know now that we're kind of a part of history. We've just kind of come to respect that lighthouse. We kind of strangely got a bond with it. We were talking about with the guys last night, and we all want to get out of here but we all want to stay too. It's strange, we want to get out of here, but it's just, we also love it here too. It's just kind of a neat, unique experience.